Hello, hello, welcome in,
My
guys.
friends all have spring.
Let me see if I can find myself. Get myself shared. So we are in an event today, and it is Alice in Wonderland journaling event, which is great because I actually have a lot of stuff that is meant for a journal, and it would be good if I actually maybe get it done. So we'll be working on that today. Thank you, Miss Yadi. Hello there, Miss Yvonne. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for having me. Thank you, thank you. All right. So, we're gonna show. Okay, here we go. All right. So, I've been working a little bit on this already. But this is my cover. So it is a little golden book cover, but we're not putting little golden book pages back in it because all I do have is the actual cover. I don't have the pages for it. The cover was sold to me. I actually have a few covers that are like just the board covers for whatever reason, but that's fine because we can totally, do something with pages on the inside. And I'd already put some fabric on the inside with it. I'd already made my spine with an extra piece of chipboard and masking like I normally do. So we are going to finish the cover up and get the signature together to get it sewn in here, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and get my fabric trimmed down. So before me was Miss Vicky, and she's got a beautiful journal that she's been working on, and she does plan to sell it. Up after me is Miss Yadi, which is our hostess. So make sure that you are part of the free group, Yadi's Workshop and Friends, so you can see everybody. Hi there, Miss Sheila. How are you, my friend? That was so funny me earlier, but I don't know why my big fingers were trying to co-host you instead who I was supposed to be hosting. Y'all, what a mess. Oh my gosh. It's having all kinds of technical difficulties. Earlier on whatnot. So technical difficulties happen on every platform, guys. It's not just one. They happen everywhere. And they happen to all of us. So, don't fret if you struggle with things, Hello there, Miss Holly. How are you? Hello, hello. I hope you are doing well. I'm glad that you get to see who it is. So, how's everybody's Saturday been? It has been a busy Saturday for me. Kind of normal. Kind of normal Saturday. So, that would have been funny. Yeah, it would have. Yeah, I realized because it asks you, even after you push, all the buttons, it asks you, do you really want this person to co-host you? And I was like, oh, wait a second, no, that's not the right person. I'm like, what in the world? Yeah. Life is a wonderful struggle. You know what? Thing about it is that we're still alive, regardless of what may be happening, and that is what matters. You know? I know things can be hard, but the fact that we are even able to open our eyes, you know, that is a miracle unto itself, because no day is promised to us, right? So the fact that we can even wake up and celebrate this day, so I'm happy to be here. Even when I'm, you know, even if I'm half asleep or hurting or whatever, I'm still happy to wake up every day. In different places and on whatnot, but I have never watched you. Oh, well, it is a pleasure then for you to be here, my friend. Thank you. Yes, I do tend to like pop around, don't I? Let's see, where are my book corners? I want to put some book corners on this, but we'll do that later because I can't find them. All right, so I do need to cover obviously this part here that has my masking tape on. All right, and you can cover this a few different ways. You can cover this with some more fabric, you can cover it with paper. It's completely up to you what you choose to cover your book with. Your book, your spine, all of it for that matter. Alright, I had a strip of paper that I wanted to use. I gotta just find it because I was kind of pulling papers out. Because I don't know if anybody else does this, but I tend to collect by theme, and then when it's time to use it, then I'll use it. I had a strip of paper. What happened to, oh, here we go. Don't know if they'll be long enough, and if they're not long enough, then I'll have to cut a piece of paper. Nope, it's not. That's long enough, but not wide enough. Okay. Alright. So we will get something else. Let's do this one here, because then that way it'll say, well, it doesn't matter because you really won't see it much once I do the sewing part. So if that's the case, then let's put some fabric on it. What do I have? I have this strip here, which we can use. So yeah, so I collect by theme, and I put everything like into a container for the theme, and then when I'm ready to use it, I just grab that container, and it works for me, right? Really, that is actually quite odd, because that's like something that's usually around, right? That's usually something we find. But they have become very popular. So, yeah. They have become very popular, and people do tend to snag them now. I've noticed that Alice in Wonderland and Wizard of Oz, because everybody wants to do those journals, so they are hard to find. I did see somebody had a board book, and I was thinking, oh, a board book, that would actually be really fun to work with, because that's another way you can make a journal, is with a board book. So I just put some Fabri-Tac down, and now I'm going to lay down my fabric. It does not have to be 100% perfect. But you do have some wiggle room if you do need to move it, okay? Hey there, Miss Amy! How are you? I hope you are having a blessed Saturday. Now this fabric is from Stamperia, and it came in like this 3-pack of like decoupaging fabric, and I'd already used some of this piece already for a previous Alice project. And it is kind of like a synthetic. You've been watching everybody silently. Hey, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with silently watching. I tend to be a silent watcher too many times. There's a lot of times that I'm working or doing stuff and I tend to be just very quiet in the background, enjoying what everybody does. Y'all keep me company while I'm working on stuff. I'm just reinforcing some of these edges that I didn't get the glue all the way down there, so. And I will probably end up coming with some kind of trim just to make it look really cute and neat. Which trim I will use, I don't know yet. But it'll be something. That's for sure. Alright, I'm going to tuck this edge over, and did I leave? I did not leave a whole lot untucked, unglued, did I? Maybe just enough. So even if I did have the pages for this particular golden book, it would have been it would have looked uneven when I did it, because this book was actually cut too short. And what do I mean by that is, when you are taking your little golden books apart, you do not want to cut right where the book bends, because if you do that, then your spine is going to be shorter in width than the width of your pages, and that, you know, that ends up being a bit of a problem, right? So I just tuck that in. And tuck the other side in if I've left enough space. Sometimes I forget to leave it. And so then you gotta manipulate it just a little bit. But I hope that everybody has enjoyed the event so far. We had our beautiful Mandy was on earlier today. Did get to watch a little bit of her. Said before me was Miss Vicky. Up after me, we have our hostess with the mostest, Miss Yadi. So make sure that you stick around to watch her. She has a lot to teach us, and I am always here to learn from others. I always love seeing how others, you know, journal and treat their books and how they create, because it's inspiring. It helps me to be a better creator. So thank you all for sharing. I do appreciate it. Alright, and once I have this done, we can get to working on my pages. Only because I want that to dry. Okay. Alright, put that over there. And let me show you what I was working on. Okay, so these are the pages that are going to go in, and we're going to decorate the parts that are white, okay? And so, like this page I've already decorated. We made a pocket with the page from the actual book, and it has a little card in here. And that goes in there. Oops, I got glue on here. Don't want that on my pages. We have the pocket, we have the guys with the roses, and then on this side, this is actually a tuck that I did with a cutout and some of that paper that you saw earlier, because this is the page where I cut it down. So I had some strips left over, and so we used this layered up. And then we have, like I said, multiple other pages to decorate. Alright, and so that's what we're going to work on. We're going to work on decorating these pages. So I want to go back here, and from the book, the title of chapter 7 is A Mad Tea Party. So I actually want to cut this out and put this over here. I think it'll look really, really cool to actually use the you know, the parts, right? And this was a book that I found, I think maybe at like the dollar spot at Target, or one that I got for not much at a Goodwill. It's going to be one of the two places. So they're kind of like the cheap ones. Hey there, Miss Jeanette. They're kind of like the cheaper prints on a paperback, but you know, they still have the imaging and all the good things, so we can use them. You can dye the papers, and you can use the papers in here. Though the thing about the binding of this particular book was that it was the glue style, so you know, the pages are individual, they're not in a folio, which, like I showed one of my last videos, You know, you can easily fix that with just using some washi tape, and you can turn them into a folio. But if not, they're great for, you know, tearing up, taking the images and using them in your journals. And I just like that we're using parts of the actual book. So you could put it there, or you could even layer it over here if you wanted to. I don't know, I kind of do like it layered on top of this versus over here. But if I'm gonna do that, then I am going to want a piece of scrap. And find a piece of scrap paper. So like we can layer this on top of that and then place that there so it kind of stands out a little bit more. Right? That looks better. So that's what we're gonna do. Remember, the biggest thing usually when it comes to journaling is just the layering. Whether you're layering papers, you're layering colors. Thank you. Yeah, I wish I could figure out how to do that for whatnot, but only have that option here with FB and YouTube. So, because whatever I'm streaming on Facebook goes over to YouTube. So that way the videos are there and saved. But yeah, we have not figured out whatnot yet. It doesn't want to play nice with the servers. So we do what we can. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. What does it do? I'm just rounding the corners. Hi, Miss Brenda. No, Miss Lisa Mary was on earlier. So see how now you have this like pop of color that helps so that that does not get blended in because it's the same tone. That's kind of what I was looking for. So Miss Sheila, what do you mean by yes it does? And we'll just put it down here. And it'll dry. I do want to trim down this card right quick because it was not trimmed properly. Hello there, Miss Chandra. How are you? Welcome in, my friend. Oh, backwards with the words, sorry. And then I'm going to round these ones because see how the card is rounded? So I'm going to round the edges on the blue frame, just so that we kind of keep that consistent round to that. And then of course we're going to ink the edges just so that we don't see the white core of our paper. And you could have inked this in blue since this is in blue. I'm not liking how this thing cut right there. Okay, so perfect little thing right there. Love it. Okay. Alright, so now on one of the other pages, how about we look at creating, so I have lots of like little scraps, and of course, you know, waste not, want not. Okay, well that's not a scrap. So I'm thinking that we could potentially turn these all into like a flip. Let's see what other little papers we have. See, all kinds of cute little papers here. And these are all scraps, right? So let's cut some of these down and give us some little flips so that we can create like a cute little. Question is, that's going to be too skinny because we want them all to be somewhat about the same size. That one's not going to work, but this one will work. That actually, you could almost leave it and make it a pocket. Looks like something was cut out there. I'm tempted to leave that like a pocket because that's actually pretty cool. So let's do that. Let's just fix the edges here and we'll trim it up a little bit. So it looks like it's a little torn on these ends, and I might be able to use my fancy scissors to kind of follow the pattern that it was going with. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Okay. And we're going to ink this up. Again, you can use color inks. That would be great. This is just going to make it look all aged because I'm using the walnut. But if you could use a blue, you could use a really nice pink with this. Heck, you could even use green because there's green with the leaves. So, you know, make it whatever you would like. And ironically, this is a Graphic 45 set, and I bought what somebody had left over. They called it a scrap pack. They had used it, but they had, you know, a few still intact pages. The rest were all scraps. I was like, you can do so much with scraps. I was like, I'll take the scraps. And so look. Am I using papers from the book? I am using like actual papers and book pages and using like the images and stuff in it. I am doing that, yes. But then like these pages here, where you're seeing me pulling scraps, these are from a Graphic 45 set, and somebody was selling their leftover scraps after they made an album. I was like, I can use that. I love working with scraps. So that's what we're doing today. Working with all kinds of stuff. The only thing I am not using are pages from the Little Golden Book. That is what I am not using. So let's see. I'm going to use some of these cards that were part of the set. Hello there, Miss Janet. Welcome in. How are you? Hopefully you are having a blessed Saturday. So see, now we have these two cards that we can tuck in there. And that was made from a scrap, something that somebody was discarding. Okay. Now let's work on doing this flip thingy-my-bob that I want to do. Alright, so we are trying to use some of the larger scrap pieces for this. I was wondering what happened to them. Okay. Let me cover this before I ink everything up the wrong way. Okay. Now, so let's cut. So I was going to say about 4 inches, right? About 4 inches. Yeah, let's cut about 4 inches. I'll do about 4 by 4s. So we'll cut 4 by 4s out of. Hey there, how are you? Y'all, if you're not following Miss Vicky from This Chick Crafts, you definitely need to go give her a follow. She's amazing with her paper crafting and journaling. So she is an awesome person to have in your wheelhouse. You can learn a lot from her. welcome, dear. We need to kind of straighten. Well, I'm gonna fold it, so that'll be fine. Okay, so now we're gonna come and we're going to fold it in, because we need at least a little bit of a flap, so about 1/4 inch in is what I'm gonna do to give me my flap to glue. And so I just put everything at the 1 inch, and then I follow my 1/4 and then do it that way. Okay, welcome in, Miss Krista. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you all so very much for coming and joining me. We are in Yadi's Workshop and Friends event group today, and we are having an Alice in Wonderland tea party event. It is all about Alice. And if you know anything about journaling, you know that you have fallen down the rabbit hole. Would you ladies not say that? That once we tend to start, we have fallen down the rabbit hole with our curiosity, just like Alice? I love being able to figure out what all I can do with paper. So yeah, I'm a comedian today. Okay, so this is not even. Let me even it out. If not, this is going to be a bit of a problem. Most definitely. Yeah, I would say I think we all have kind of gone down that rabbit hole. Now I'm not doing this as a moving one where you have a little piece where you can pull. I'm just doing it as a regular flip. Ooh, yummy pizza. That sounds good. That sounds very, very good. I'll take pizza. You know what, let's do it behind the one that has the tea party. So all we're going to do is we are going to align these up underneath each other in whatever order you choose, okay? And then once we glue them down, then you can flip them upward and have whatever you choose to have, okay? So I'm just figuring out the order that I want them to go in. I think that's good. Alright, So first things first. Thank you. You're going to want to make sure that you trim your corners here, okay? So you're going to have to miter those corners just so that you have a cleaner look, okay? And give it an extra little press down with the bone folder. If you want to round edges, this is the time to round edges. And if you want to ink, this is the time to ink. So it's all done. And you don't have to worry about doing it once it's put together, okay? Curious to see what our sweet Yadi is going to make for this. That's where I mess up on my waterfall, not cutting the corners. It really does help. And like I said, this is just a flip waterfall. It's not a pull waterfall. It's one of the easiest ones that you can do, especially when you're first starting. So, you know, I don't want ever to hear from somebody that, oh, I can't do a waterfall. Yes, you can, because there's different ones that you can do. You don't have to do the most complicated one. And it still looks great. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I really like the fact that even though the cover is the Disney the Walt Disney version, that when you open it up, it's more the traditional images. So I like that. And so that's gonna go there. And I mean, we could stop there and do another one on a different page, or you can do as many as you want. Yes, our next presenter is Miss Yadi herself. So y'all stay tuned. Hubby's been off. He was off last night and he's off today, so he's been keeping track of what I've been doing all day. Really? I mean, if you look at the classic imaging, I mean, don't get me wrong, I grew up obviously watching the Disney version. But it's actually kind of creepy when you go to looking at it. And then at the same time, I mean, you read the story about the author. And it's like, I don't know. Hey there, Miss Teresa. Yeah, use both images. Use what you like, you know? Use what you like. Yeah, my daughter is all like, Mom, did you know the real story behind the man who wrote Alice in Wonderland? My daughter will. Well, let's just say that he had a he had a infatuation for Alice, who was the daughter of a friend of his while she was really, really young. Yeah, he was not the best person. So yeah, he was a known Pete of his time period. Of course, so much stuff gets shoved under the rug. So, hello there, Miss Rona. Hey there, Poodle. How are you, my friend? All the way from over yonder, across the pond. How are you? I hope that you are having a wonderful, hopefully, is it still Saturday for you? Actually, you guys should already be Sunday, right? Or close to it? So. Alright, let's get these glued down. If my glue will work for me. It's like you were working earlier. The one thing when you're doing a flip is to keep in mind, if you do have I am doing well, that if you do have an image that is directional, you know, to pay attention to that. Okay, yeah, so close to Sunday. I hope you've had a blessed Saturday then, since it's almost the end for you. So that's the biggest thing, is making sure that whatever is directional is actually facing you the proper way, because if not, when you go to flip, it's going to be, you know, upside down. So just make sure that you're paying attention to that when you have images that are double-sided. So like this one here, if I would have wanted this to be underneath, right, then I would have had to have flipped it so that when this flips up, it would be proper and not backwards. So just pay attention to your papers when you are doing your folds, that's all. So that you don't go to flip it and then you're like, oh man, I put that the wrong way. Because I know I do that. Well, thank you. Yes, I just don't want y'all to make mistakes I've made. So I've made them, and then I'll be flipping it up, and then I'll be like, dang it, and then you gotta take it apart, and then at that point you've ripped your paper, and or you gotta end up covering it. So hubby's cooking dinner, y'all. I'm excited. He's making his cube steak, which I absolutely love. Hey, like I said, I forget it too. I forget it too, my friend. You know, there is not a paper crafter on earth that has not done that mistake. I mean, I can show you my smash book. I went through the whole process of doing my smash book decorated the cover only to find out that I did everything and the book is backwards. So, yeah. Miss Yadi. Miss Yadi is up next. So, definitely stick around to see what she's going to create. She is our lovely hostess for today's event. And if you did miss anybody, please, please, please go back to Yadi's Workshop and Friends. It is the free event group that Miss Yadi hosts her events in. And you can go see everybody that was on today and look at their different takes on it. You know, because we all do stuff just a tad bit differently, you know, and that's what's so pretty about it, you know, because could you imagine how boring if we were all exactly the same? So yeah, I'm grateful that we all have different views, and we see things differently, create differently, because that gives the world variety. You know, we're all created in God's image, and yet we're all unique and different. So, beautiful, beautiful. Same goes for our creativity. You know, my creativity is different from others. So here we go. Look at that. Look at how pretty that is. And so now we have, and you can write, you could do something back there if you wanted to. Careful with this last one because it's not all the way glued or dried up yet, but that's what it is. Yes, exactly. That is what is amazing. And you know what's even more amazing? Not only when we all have the same theme, but we like all have the same materials, and yet everybody will do something completely different. Like, if that doesn't say, you know, how awesome is, like, yeah. Alright, so I do want to add something here at the bottom. And I'm thinking, because we are talking about the tea party, what if we added this image underneath, and then when you lift up, that's when you get to see like the whole image. And we could create a pocket out of it again. I think that's really cool. So, what do we have here? No, not that one. Let's do waves. Let's do waves for this one. Who knew that those funny shaped scissors that we used back in kindergarten would now be a thing that we, you know, want to use? And I'm actually going to turn it into a pocket. So I am going to just fold edges.
Maybe busy, but take a look.
Let me see what you got. You put bacon in it? That looks good though. Smells good.
You want to smell, keep it tight.
Oh, y'all, I know what I'm gonna be doing when I get off. Hubby just brought cornbread. It smells so good. He knows how much I love his cornbread. He normally cooks it with bacon grease, but this time he decided not just to add the bacon grease, but he was going to add actual pieces of bacon into it. Alright, so you do want to cut off this part here, so you're going to trim it so that way you can have, you know, the part for your pocket. Again, we do have to come down in an angle. Love you some cornbread. Yeah. He does it in a cast iron skillet, usually with some bacon grease in it. buttermilk. Oh my god, it's just so good. Alright. And so here is our little pocket. I do want to ink the edges. You know, someday I'll understand how people can keep on inking like they've got a bunch of ink on for days. So thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. If you have missed any of the presenters, please go back and watch them, support them. Let them know that you did come back to watch by putting #replay. That does help. Oh, thank you. And now we just put a little bit of glue on our little edges here. And this is, like I said, this is just a book page from a $1 book that was Alice in Wonderland. It was a chapter book. See, so it's covered. You don't see it. You don't see it until you have flipped through everything and you flip the last one up, and then there is the Mad Hatter and the hare, and they're trying to pull the mouse out of the teapot. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think my I think it's coming together really nicely. So I do love that. And again, you can just put tuck a little something something in there. I think we had here. See if this one will fit. Oh, it might. It just might fit. Time for tea. Like I said, these were all like cut aparts that are part of that graphic 45 set. I'm thinking later tonight I'm gonna go live to work on your prayer journal. Yes, hey guys, so if you guys are up later, Miss Teresa is going to be working on her prayer journal, so y'all can definitely go and watch her. She does some beautiful journals as well. Absolutely love her. Hey, yes, you did forget the time again. And I'm about to hop off, and I'm gonna go have me some cornbread. Gary just came in with the cornbread, and it smells so good, and he made cube steak. Oh, he's spoiling me. I love it when he's off and he goes to cooking. So, see? Look at that. Looky, looky, looky. How cute that came out. So again, if you are newer to journaling and you are maybe afraid of doing a waterfall or a cascade where you have the pull tab, this is a great easy way to do it, where you can still have the same effect. You know, you just got to manually lift them, but you can still have all the beautiful little things. And then, like I said, we added a little hidden picture here, and he's right next to the Cheshire Cat with the hat on. So that's gonna go into my Alice cover. And again, thank you so much for hanging out with me, yo. I appreciate it more than you guys know. Let me show you guys the cover that we will be putting stuff into. So again, this is some fabric with Alice and all that, and then we are using a golden book cover that I had the cover but not the pages for, because that's how they sold it, which is fine because so much other stuff that we can use. So this is going to be all put together into a really cool little funky little journal, and I am so grateful that you guys came and hung out with me. Have a blessed rest of your weekend. Enjoy your rest of your Sunday and your Saturday. May you have a blessed one. Know that you are loved, and I appreciate you so very much, and I will see you all soon. Let's go see what Yadi is creating for us. Ciao!